Hello, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good
Am I
afternoon, ma'am.
audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
actually, due to heavy rainfall, it's terrible network issue. So I'm extremely sorry. So after a few minutes, I've joined. So good afternoon to all. Today, already I've sent my PPT to Sakshi ma'am. Ma'am, can please
Yeah,
present?
just
Please
wait,
continue
ma'am.
with the.
2 minutes. We are going to share the PPTs.
Sure, sure.
Just 2 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's visible.
So, hello and welcome to
Yeah, yeah.
everyone. This is Sumit here from Research Circle. I welcome you all. And first of all, sorry for the inconvenience because due to heavy rain, we have some technical issue. So now for today's webinar, we have the topic that effectiveness of writing a good research paper. And for this, we have with us today's expert speaker, Ms. Saroda Chatterjee. She is an academic coordinator and head of the Department of BBA, Nopani Institute of Management Studies, Makut. And she's also an faculty of Vidyasagar University, a research scholar of Makut, life member of Indian Academic Researchers Association, a Women Empowerment Secretary, Kolkata, Human Rights and Social Justice Mission. So, without wasting further time, I would like to uh, ma'am, I would like to request to ma'am, please continue.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I would like to thank Research Circle for providing this platform to me to share few theoretical views rather about this research, writing of research paper. So today I have chosen this topic, effectiveness of writing a good research paper. So whoever is attending this session, the researchers, the young researchers already they are pursuing the research. Research is very important in today's world, right? Because whenever we are doing a research, the literal meaning, when actually what we are getting from this term research is researching. That is, every time we are researching something, right? Suppose a work has already been done 10 years earlier, but now, based on that work, based on that topic, we can research it. We can research the objectives. We can redefine the objectives rather. We can redefine the objectives, and we can get through that what is the thing that was already there in the in 10 years before research paper, and what is now we are focusing, what is now the new researchers will be focusing in their research paper. So this is about the main theme of today's topic. I would rather like to add. Along with it, I would also like to add this effectiveness. Why I had used this term effectiveness. Now, effectiveness is that parameter, or we can say effectiveness help to measure the past with the future. It helped to bridge the gap between these. The bridging uh, the bridging was done obviously very much efficiently by the researchers, and that much efficiency was inculcated or is inculcated within this parameter effectiveness. The next slide, please. Okay, so a study or this webinar, as the topic focuses effectiveness of writing a good research paper, basically it focuses on research. As I have already explained, it's an academic endeavor. It helps a person when a person he or she is pursuing a research. It helps him to grow, to enhance his knowledge, to enhance her knowledge, not even his to her specific field. Suppose I'm pursuing research in human resource management, right? But research does not. The main thing is that research does not help a person to it does not have any limits, it does not have any boundary, rather we should say, right? Because if I will pursue my research in human resource management or marketing management, whatever, I will have the idea of all the other subjects also. So that's why the focus and the scope of research is much more wide, right? And that is the specific objective of doing a research, to gain idea, to gain knowledge. Another important thing is that whenever a person is, or whenever a student, whenever a researcher is pursuing a research, uh, basically what he is doing, basically what she is doing, she is just exploiting the resources. She is just grabbing out the opportunities of the knowledge, whatever knowledge is there, whatever new innovations he can do, whatever new innovations he can provide in the world of research. So this is just a structure I have provided, that valuable resources of both input and output, whatever, how much valuable input one can put in a resource, the output that he will get is twice double of that. That is, if 1% of input is there, the person who the output will be 2%. That is, it will double. Process. So research is actually a dynamic process. What is a dynamic process? A dynamic process means what? It is an ever changing process. Every now and then, the process of research, the process of writing a research paper, that's the main focus of my topic, is changing, right? 5 years before, the research paper, the pattern of research paper is different from now. Even after 5 years, that is today is 2021, in 2026, the pattern of writing research paper will also be different. So effectiveness of writing a good research, if you will write a good research, its value is immense. And the next thing is interventions and content. So this is just a flow that that I want to express in this parameter, that writing a good research paper is also an art. Next slide. Okay. So this is just a scientific model that I have focused, that which helps us to build up, which helps us to create a good research paper. And further, the steps, the good research paper, we cannot prepare a good research paper all of a sudden. Our research process must be well satisfied, right? And by the help of that good research work, we can bring out a good research paper. Now, before this, let me just discuss, or let me just say the three important parameters of research, the three important features. What are the three important features of research? The research must be a systematic one. The research must be logical, means it is all scientific based, and it will also include several types of logic. And thirdly, the research must be empirical. That means it will include several types of scientific data, practical experiences, experiments of these types. Now, why these types of experiments are much more needed within a research? These types of experiments or practical work is much more needed within a research, so that new interventions, new experiments can be carried out with new innovative strategies. And as much as new innovative strategies will be carried out, the process or the paper, the research paper will get much more value. Next one. Next slide. Next slide, please. It's not visible. Yeah, plan of study. So whenever a student, no, it's just before that, there is avenue for new young researchers. So this slide, yeah, avenue for young researchers. So this topic will help to build the new career of young researchers. The young researchers will be get much more motivated whenever his or her research paper will come out with good output, and it will act with very innovative thing, right? The new researchers will apply his new innovations. They will consult with their guides. They will follow the new strategies, the new platforms, the new avenues, by the help of which the they can carry out their research and they can bring out a good research paper. Next one. So next slide, I will like to say the next slide consists of a plan of study. What plan of study a researcher basically will use to continue his research? These are the basic strategies that I have mentioned, just very preliminary strategies by the help of which the researcher can complete his research well, and after completion of research, they can bring out the research paper in uh, a good research paper, basically a good research paper. Now, another thing I would like to add over here, a good research paper also can be used in for future reference for future researchers also. It adds a good value, a value addition is also be there. So that is why effectiveness of writing a good research paper is very much important. Next one. Yeah, these are the steps for writing a research paper. So what are the steps? Types of research. First of all, a researcher have to choose what specific type he will utilize. He will choose either exploratory research or descriptive or explanatory, anything. Next, choose your topic and narrowing the topic. Yeah, this is the very preliminary thing. Now, before starting this thing, just let me add up a few words regarding the study of management. In management studies, what do we learn? That whenever we used to study the management papers, we used to learn that in every management papers, planning is very much important. Planning is the preliminary function of every managerial work, right? Similarly, in research also, planning is very much important. Now, plan for what? Now, whenever suppose I'm planning to do a research, I will have to think on which subject I will have to do. I will select the subject and which topic, right? Now, these are all important steps for writing a research paper. All these are the various parameters of a research paper. So, the very preliminary thing is subject and selection of topic. Selection of topic is very much vital. Why? Because based on this topic, the objectives can will be framed out. The analysis portion is also depends on, even the recommendation portion is also dependent on this topic. That is, the full research paper depend on this topic. Now, suppose as a student you joined, someone has joined as a researcher, and for him, for choosing a topic is very much critical, right? He can, in the preliminary stage, he can think, okay, I will choose this topic. But after discussion with the guide, after discussion with the institute, this topic will become very much, this topic will become very much edited. Why? Because that was a raw idea, but the raw idea needs time to for specification. So a research paper includes that part which needs several specification. For example, suppose I choose a topic, uh, impact of training on employee retention, a study on BFSI sector of West Bengal. This topic I have chosen. It's a raw topic, right? But when this topic, after several phases, after instructions or after several value additions, it will get a new look. That means in my raw topic, there was less specificity, less reliability, which is the main aspect of research, reliability, even for data also. So there, the topic must be very much specific on which, what is the type of specific training the employee will get, what will be your target population, on what type of employees the training has its impact, right? Next, I have discussed the name of the sector, that is BFSI sector, banking and insurance sector. So in that sector, what type of sector it is, either public limited sector or private or privatized sector. So all these minute things needs or added value to the topic, and hence the specificity of the topic will be justified. Now, immediately after selection of the topic, we will go for objectives. So once the topic will be finalized, a researcher must look at the objective along with the same type of article within the he can find out or he can Google out. That is the literature review, right? The objective will only be finalized after going through thorough literature review. Now, as today's topic is just a very generalized topic, a very theoretical aspect regarding the for the young researchers specifically. So I would like to mention literature review is very much important for any research paper. Why? Because literature review helps to bridge the gap between the past studies and the present studies. Like you are suppose a draft topic or a proposed topic. In research we use this term very much, that's proposed topic. A proposed topic is being selected, and based on that now we will Google out, we will find out similar type of articles based both national and international obviously, and we will have to see what are their based on their objectives, how the thing was written, what hypothesis they have, devices they have used, all these things. Now, the study of 5 years back paper, suppose you're pursuing in research in 2021 and you start searching your papers from 2018 or 19. Is good enough? Now you will see there was vast difference in 2018's article with 2020's article. So in that case, literature review acts a very good source for selecting the objectives. Here also it's also being mentioned regarding literature review, statistical devices, references, and bibliography. Now, we will obviously in the later part of the presentation there was few words regarding this, but before that let me just brief out all these things regarding reference and bibliography. Our complete research work includes a good reference and a good bibliography, right? The next is organize your thoughts. That is, whatever you are thinking, it must be a strategic thinking. It must be very specific. You should note down all the things. You should think whatever you are thinking. You should immediately write and give it a good shape. First draft you will have to prepare after that, and after preparing a first draft will be a very generalized draft, because based on that draft several corrections will be there, several additions will be there. So the first draft of the research paper will not give the full idea about the research. Then after re-revision the final draft will be prepared, and that final draft, that final research paper next will be that plagiarism will be checked on. That plagiarism is it's a very important part in case of research, because I hope at this moment minimum 7% is considered plagiarism. Above 7% the thing will get cancelled, right? So plagiarism is a very important part in case of research, and one have to check plagiarism. That is, uh, the researcher always should use his own words in writing the research. It should not be a copy paste, specifically the literature review portion. So these are the basic steps for writing a research paper, which also proves that the researcher have to give there or have to provide his or her full efficiency for completing the research paper, and only after that, only after providing the full efficiency for writing a research paper, the actual effectiveness of a research paper can come out into his view. Please, next slide. Okay. These are the two models that I have shown regarding formation of research work. The first model, the Horgeless model of scientific paper structure, is a very basic model where introduction, body, and discussion. Only three parts are there. It's a very basic model. But the anatomy of a scientific paper, the basic scientific research paper, when a person will write or when a researcher will write, so these are the basic steps that a researcher have to follow to give effectiveness of his research paper, like introduction, knowledge gap to be filled, that is to find out the research gap. And a research gap is, I would like to add that whenever a researcher will pursue proper literature, will go through proper literature review, from there only the literature gap will be, the research gap will be found. and you may have many difference that we can find out with the past studies and what I want to do. This gap is called research gap. For example, suppose I wanted to pursue the topic that I've already discussed regarding impact of training on employee retention study on PFSI sector. But previously in the literature review, suppose I have studied that impact of training on retention was there only on banking sector, right? No insurance sector was involved over there. But what is my focus? My focus is to pursue research both on banking and on insurance sector. So that is why this, what will be my research gap? My research gap will be my the study was done previously. The study was done on banking sector, but my paper is focused on insurance sector. So that is my research gap of my paper. So in this way, you'll have to find out. Then the rationale of the research or the hypothesis, that is after finding out the objectives, the hypothesis only can be framed out. Methodology, very important part. Methodologies include what statistical devices you will use. Though I'm not, though in this session, detailed statistical discussions will not be there because it's just a theoretical one. So just overall idea I'm just giving out to you. Later on in my slide also a few notations are also there regarding statistical devices. So what methodologies a researcher will use? Either descriptive statistics, what software he can use, uh, if he will use SPSS, what type of variables he will use, either group variable or scale variable. All these things are there, and these things are will be mentioned in the methodology. Now, in discussing methodologies, one thing also let me add that in methodology, in discussing about methodology, the number of year is very much important. That is, suppose I am pursuing research in 2021, but my research year will be starting from 2019 to 2021. That means I will have to start collecting data from 2019 onwards. It requires few number of years to complete this factors. Next, discussion, that means detailed data analysis I'll have to do. Beside these softwares and beside these statistical devices, graphs and charts can also be used. And last, the conclusion. Next slide, please. Yeah, regarding choosing of topic, it is again the new slide that we are now entering into details. So topic is very much important. Without choosing a proper topic, you can't proceed for your research. The research paper will remain incomplete. Suppose you are choosing a topic and your content is something else. So at that moment, what will happen? Zero effectiveness, zero efficiency. You know, not even, not I will say that zero efficiency, but whatever efficiency you will put, that will become null and void. So as per your topic, otherwise the effectiveness will go null and void. Otherwise the effectiveness will go null and void. Please next one. Okay, over here, few things are being mentioned that for choosing your topic, for choosing a specific topic, three parameters are being mentioned: read, breadth, originality, and sources. So these are the three parameters that. What is about the first one? You need to start broad and let your research take you narrower. That means in a broad aspect you are thinking first of all these aspects. Suppose three aspects you are considering, but when finally you are completing your research or finally you have started doing your research, the the broader aspect should be narrowed down, obviously by the help of your guide. So this is the first one. What is the next one? Originality. Choose a topic that will allow you to contribute the field. That means the topic should always related to your content. Without the topic is contains something else and you are discussing something else, that's different. And last is sources. Choose a topic that has scholarly grounding. That means on that topic you can find good literature reviews. Based, you'll have to select such topic based on which you can continue research in various fields also. What do I mean various fields? Let me just explain. That means suppose you'll have to choose such a topic, you'll have to choose such a narrow aspect or such a topic for your research, that based on that you can also frame your questionnaire in various ways, right? Because framing of questionnaire is also a very important part for your research. Either it is an open-ended or close-ended, whatever it is, but questionnaire is very important. If you will do a primary research, the questionnaire is must, as all of us know. Next one. Okay. Now, in the next slide, it is being some steps are being given that how to narrow your topic, because it has choosing your topic has a very good influence on anyone's research paper, right? So, what are the first things? Focus on a specific type or class. Focus on a particular place or region. Focus on specific time period. Focus on specific aspect. So, time, class, place, region, everything is being considered for selecting a topic. And what are the aspects, specific aspects is being mentioned, like social, legal, medical, ethical, various parameters are there, economic, political, philosophical, all these ideas. Now, the research is very much concentrated on the effectiveness of research is very much concentrated on choosing the topic. So that is why all these things are the researchers are keep in mind, because the demographical aspect of a research, population is very much important and basic, and based on this population the type of research is also being carried out. Because whenever in beside this topic formation, during the formation of the questionnaire, in questionnaire also we all of us know, even the new researchers, to them also I want to tell you, whenever we used to frame a questionnaire, the first part of the questionnaire consists of the employees or the respondents demographical part. That means age, gender, occupation, ethnicity, nationality, anything, educational attainment, experiences, all these things. So this demographic aspect played a very important role even in choosing of a topic also. The next is focus on a relationship of two or more topics. Suppose you are in a quite confusing state that what topic you want to choose, you are not being well aware of it. So at that moment you can choose two parallel aspects, and from that parallel two aspects you can get a common goal, and from that common goal you can frame your own topic, right? The next thing is combination of different kind of focuses. So combination of different kind of focuses we also used to get from different types of studies. Suppose I would like to think that I will pursue a research on sales and advertisement, right? So it's not a it's just a idea, right? It's not any topic, it's not anything. Now I will have to think at the very moment when I thought that my focus is on sales and advertisement, I'll have to think on which area, this is a very important thing, on which aspect, which what will be my target population, that is from which people I will collect data. Suppose I have chosen for collection of data from Indian Oil Company Limited, right? It's a public sector organization, but it's a huge organization and several types of employees are over there. So I can't go to every employee and can't collecting my data, right? It's not, it's, there is no such objective, no clear objective is over there. What I will do after immediately selection of a topic, I will have also to focus that what will be my target respondent, from whom I will get these much of data, right? So this is a very important thing, and all these things will be easily will be so much strategically focused in my research paper that the thing will get eased up. The next thing, please go to the next slide. Okay. The next thing is narrowing my topic. In narrowing my topic, several concepts I have just mentioned, that journalistic, several just avoid jargons and huge long words or sentences. And always remember, this is a suggestion for the new researchers also, that the topic must be very specific, because if the topic will be very long one, if the title will be very long one, then it will be become very monotonous, right? So these are the tips which I have just focused for choosing the, for narrowing the topic. I'm just briefing it up. Several questions that the 5 W's we'll have to consider: who, sorry, what, when, where, and why. Then the same things is also being focused over here: review of literatures, research gap, and the huge guidance that the guide will only provide to you. Next one. Now the next one is, the next slide is contain the literature review. Now, whenever we will frame a literature review, there are basically two formats we used to follow. First of all, a paragraph style format where you can segregate it as national and international, or this table format. See, I've just suggested an example. I just want to focus one example of paragraph of columnar type of, that is a mixed descriptive type of literature review, where uh, serial number, author's name, year, topic, objectives, and findings are being specifically mentioned. Even in some tables, hypothesis or statistical devices is also by the separate column is also being prepared to bring out the outcome. So there are basically three types of literature review designs. In any of the designs that the guide will help you to select, but basically we used to prepare this chart, or we can write in paragraph form. Now, this literature review part is very much important for any researcher. Why? Because based on this literature review, the detailed idea of the research paper, of the previous research paper that was obviously related with your current research paper, you will get the full idea, starting from introduction, ending till references. Even the references also, it's a good guidance that also I can give you. You can also take out good references from previous papers, from literature review, and those references you can apply when you are writing your research paper. Another important tips that I wanted to give you for the, for writing a good for making your research paper much more effective, that is, whenever we will write your research paper, always use source. The source is very much important. See, in my slides I have tried to mention at least one source, right? So these type of sources are very much important in any introduction, abstract, data analysis, regarding company profile, anything. When you are writing, always please try to focus on the source. That means you, continuous literature review we will have to do, the researcher have to do continuous literature review, and only after continuous literature review, the researcher can able to um, find out a good research paper. The next slide, please. The next slide contains the research methodology part. See, in the how a researcher will get or will can do the research methodology part, and how in the research paper they can inculcate, they can add up the research methodology. Just an example I have shown for secondary data and for primary data. I hope all of you can see it. It's a detailed sample is being provided over here, along with some methods and statistical tests. So any statistical test the researcher want to use, as per, they obviously based on the objective, the statistical test will be decided, and then after discussion with the guidance, the methodologies will be selected. And these are the specific methodologies, or sample research methodology, which is being given over here, where sample size, selection criteria, duration of the study, data collection details, data analysis, how the researcher will pursue his data analysis, all the details are being focused over here. Even another important thing, that research methodology, by the help of research methodology, the research paper is getting a new arena. Why? Because It is the data analysis portion. It is that portion. The research methodology is that portion by the help of which the researcher can able to focus. The researcher can able to show that what he is actually wanted to do, what he actually want to do, what he actually wanted to focus in his research paper. So these all are the very important um, typical parameters for bring out the effectiveness of writing a good research paper. The next slide. In the next slide, we will see a thesis statement. How will be a thesis statement? Because this also it also acts a very important feature of making a good research paper. Now, in the thesis statement, it's obviously the statement is an outline, a structure, and it is showing a roadmap that is following which avenue, what roadmap, what are the steps the researcher will follow to complete his research paper in a very good way. The typical thesis statement gives brief mention to each of the paper's main points. That is, specific points the researcher used to get from this thesis statement, and also states the overall argument the writer wishes to make. That is the logic part. It directly answers the question asked to you. That is, in the thesis statement, several types of question and answers being asked. And why it is being asked over here? Because to find out the actual result. Now another important thing regarding this thesis statement, and now in a research paper, one portion is also being added over there as research questions, right? Now, whenever we used to frame any objective, first of all, we will have to frame out research questions. And from research questions, the research objectives will come out. So research question is the source by the help of which the research objectives can be diagnosed. And and based on those research objectives, the thesis statement depends upon. So see, I would like to say, so each attribute or each feature of this of the things that we are discussing about today is interrelated. One is related with another. If the research questions cannot be formed specifically, then it will hamper the process of making the research objectives, right? And if research objectives will not be prepared easily, then our research statement will get hampered. So each is interdependent on another. So research statement, research objectives, research gap, literature review, all these things help thesis or help for the effectiveness, or act as the devices or act as the tool for the effectiveness of a research of any research paper. Moreover, it's usually a sentence near the end of the first paragraph and presents your argument to the reader. Next one, please. Okay, so this is actually the writing process. Beside all these details, I have just want to focus four important steps which a researcher can follow, or which a researcher may follow to continue their writing of a research paper. What is it? Outline, a brief outline first of all, then draft. Based on that outline, after several discussions, after several what should I say, after several experimentation, the draft is being prepared. Now that draft will be checked by the guide and revised one will be prepared. And last, number four, the edited part, that is the final research paper. Next slide. Now the next slide will contain that writing the research paper. What will be the outline? What will be the benefits of an outline of these outlining of research paper? What are the benefits? It helps for process in writing, that is continuous writing. You are learning. Obviously, you are learning a good English for writing whenever you are writing a research paper. Beside it, also you are learning how to write a research paper, the art of writing a research paper. It helps you organize your ideas. That means how will you proceed, and what will be your content, right? Moreover, the logical thing, the relationship among ideas of your writing overview, the total overview of a research will be focused or need to be focused in describing the benefits of writing a research outline paper. Defines boundaries and groups and also prevent you from straying from the topic. That means always, every time, whatever you should focus, the thing will be the thing that you will do every time. Whenever you should focus on the research paper, the thing you should do, that you should follow these specific outlines for gaining the effectiveness of a research paper. Next slide, please. Yes, how to create an outline. So already we have gone a detailed idea that how to write a research paper and what's the importance of writing a research paper. Basically, a good research paper help the future researcher also to make it a reference paper, right? Another one in the it's also having a great impact, societal impact also, we can say that is society is also getting benefited by a good research work, right? And thirdly, the researcher who is pursuing the research work, he is also gaining a good introduction of him, a good reputation, a good brand name for writing a research work. And for that, a good creation of outline is necessary, where the five levels or five features I have just want to show: that research, brainstorming, organizing, order, and labeling. Now, in this case, I wanted to focus an example. Uh, Whenever once I have pursued a project at on training and development in human resource management from Indian Oil Company Limited. It was a public sector organization. So whenever we used to go there, obviously it was a live research. So whenever we used to go there, we used to see that several other researchers or several other trainees, several other students also used to go there, and they have a brain and they have a session, they used to organize. That is, this is the basic important thing which I also wanted to focus, that big organizations, reputed organizations, always give importance to these researchers, always give importance to these students, and that is why they can able to create a good outline of a research paper, right? So what I see over there, that in Indian Oil Private Limited, they used to prepare specific sessions for researchers. They used to prepare, suppose as I did research on training and development. So over there, they used to provide specific sessions on training. They used to bring experts from outside, and they used to give us various types of ideas, various types of brainstorming sessions, including that the Indian Oil Company Limited have also their own library. So over there, we also we also used to do the library work. We also used to collect several data from library, from their annual reports, from their magazines, and all these things. So that helps a researcher, that these attributes, these advantages, these opportunities, whenever a company where you are going to pursue where which you have selected as your sample, you are going to research, or which sector you have selected, whatever it is, that company, if used to give you these types of opportunities, this will help to create a good outline of your research work. So that is why these five features are very much justified for maintaining or for writing a good research paper. And this help a researcher to make effective of their to create a good research paper. Please, next slide. Next slide. Can you please shift to next slide, please? Okay, just the previous one. It missed out. Previous one. Just before this. Yeah, outline tips. So these are the just specific tips which you can follow for doing a good research paper. Begin early, refer to your outline often, Be as specific as possible. Avoid having too many subheadings. Don't be afraid to change your outline. Allow yourself enough time to make changes. That is the main thing from outline tips for making a good research paper, is that it should be a time consuming one, right? And that is the reason you must keep time in your hand for selecting a topic and then to start your research paper, because research a good research paper needs very much time to complete the thing, right? And these are the outline tips that I will suggest for the new researchers, for the young researchers who is pursuing research at this moment, to follow these tips to make his or her research paper much effective one. And also later on, when it will be published, or it will be come into the view of other public, it will add up a very much it itself will become a very much good resource of its own. Next slide, please. Okay, so this slide, basically I have prepared before conclusion that it's a value added slide. What are the important values uh, the researcher must add for bringing out a good research paper? It's exploring research directions. Whenever a person is pursuing a research and bringing out a good result, good output, obviously his scope, I will say, his scope will much be extended one. It will be very much, the scope will not remain in a it should not be a narrow one. It should become a broad scope. That is, it can extend to any other field, and in parallel field also he can guide someone also to continue the research. It helps to bridge the gap between past and present day. Obviously your research will have to be a genuine work, right? It should be it should be plagiarism free. And the few important softwares of plagiarism also, few reputed software also, as we know, Turnitin is there, Grammarly is there, Quillvolt is there. So we can use this authentic software, right? Authentic plagiarism checker softwares, and we can check our the plagiarized things we can remove from our study, and give it the thing will become more reliable and more authentic, right? Next is it helps to build skills and enhancing, and it also helps to enhance knowledge. So a good research paper will not only help to increase your knowledge, but will also help it will also added value to your skills also, right? And lastly, adopting very active skills like critical thinking. You should learn how to think critically, right? You Because your level of thinking may vary. Whenever the as a very important output of effective of that good research paper, the very active output is critical thinking. Why? Because previously, before you are a researcher, your thinking level is different, and now when you are pursuing your research or you have completed your research, your thinking level is also different. So there is a huge difference in thinking level. So now, as a after writing a good research paper, your thinking is becoming has become much more critical, much more effective than the previous one. So obviously a good research paper help a person or help a researcher to bring out the efficiency, his own efficiency, right? Previously, maybe his efficiency was dependent on. It may be a point of debate. I will not like to go inside those things. But previously, as a young researcher, or I will say as a young researcher, the thinking, the communication level was much more. It was much more generalized. But now these levels have changed a lot. The value added, the value addition, what happened you after creation of this good research paper, is that the thing is become very much systematic, very much strategized, I will say. Next slide. Okay, so this is the last slide. In conclusion, I will like to say that the effectiveness of a good research paper lies in that aspect of dynamism. That is, every time it's an unending project, right? Research is an unending project. That is, every time you are going through new ideas, every time you are going through innovative ideas, and when you are thinking your new innovative ideas, then only you can prepare your own research model, right? and that research model will also give a good shape for your research paper. So this is just a very brief presentation in front of you I presented today. Obviously, for the new researchers, it's a very generalized and theoretical aspects that I have discussed regarding the effectiveness of writing a good research paper, and hope it will somewhat it will guide you to continue your research. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this briefing. If anyone has any question, you can ask. You can unmute yourself and ask. Okay. Meanwhile, there is this question from YouTube Live. Uh, Mr. Librim Aslam is asking, kindly suggest me the journal which is Scopus indexed and also the procedure for management areas.
Okay, for the you can go to sites like EBSCO. EBSCO, you can search those sites, and you can go through several. You can type over there the subject that your specific subject that you want to see, and there you can find out the management based papers based on your subjects. Or another one, Google Scholar is also there beside EBSCO. In the Google Scholar, if you will obviously try to find out the journals in the current years. Suppose in 2021 you are doing, try to find out from 2019, 20, 21, like this. So this you can do it.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Please ask.
And one suggestion I want to give to the all the young researchers, whoever is present over here, that always try to find out these references from the previous research papers where you also always used to get from the literature review. Always try to use those references, and as much as international references you want to give, it will be better for bringing out a good research paper.
So thank you so much, ma'am, for this briefing. Uh, so I guess that's it for today's session. I would like to thank all the participants who have joined us through Research Circle app and via YouTube and Facebook Live. And at last, I would like to thank Ms. Saroda Chatterjee, ma'am, for taking out the time. In spite of this odd weather, they have connected with us today. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your dedication. And with your due permission, I would like to conclude our session here.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.